Evolution is the change in allele frequencies in a population over time. Here's an example of evolution occurring. From this we can see that the brown beetles are dominant. And the question is, has evolution occurred? The answer is yes, since the frequencies have changed after selection and reproduction. Since brown is dominant, when they reproduce, most brown beetles will be produced, and therefore the number of green beetles decreases. The theory of evolution states that evolution happens by natural selection. Here are the key points. Individuals in species show a wide range of variation. This variation is because of differences in genes. Individuals with characteristics most suited to the environment are more likely to survive and reproduce. The genes that allow the individuals to be successful are passed to the offspring in the next generation. Birds mostly feed on small insects and animals that live on or just under the surface of the ground, so therefore they eat worms. If we have a population of red and blue worms, and the birds like to eat the blue worms, then if the birds only eat the blue worms, then generations later there'll only be red worms left. In this situation, the red will be selected for, meaning that you have a favorable advantage in reproduction or competition, and more of your offspring survive to reproduce. The blue would be selected against, meaning that you have an unfavorable disadvantage that results in fewer of your offspring surviving to reproduce. The red wattlebird feed on nectar, which obtains by probing flowers with its thin curved bill. Magpies feed on small insects and animals that live on or just under the surface of the ground. A favorite is the scarab beetle, which is a major pest of garden lawns. Magpies will also eat frogs, small lizards, meat scraps, and grains. Magpies will prefer the non-colored spaghetti, and the red wattlebirds will prefer the red spaghetti. In this experiment, we will be changing the area where we put the spaghetti, depending on where all the birds are situated. We will not change the area in the middle of a trial. We will be measuring the number of spaghetti eaten by two species of birds after 20 minutes. We will not change the apparatus of the experiment, which includes the amount of spaghetti used, the size of spaghetti, and the colors. For this experiment, you will need green, yellow, and red food dye, 4 servings of pasta, a park where different species birds are situated, and apparatus to document results such as a pencil. Of the method, collect all the apparatus. Dye the pasta with the colors listed above. Leave one of the set undyed. Cut the pasta into 7.5 centimeter strips. Let's zap to the park. Place the tin of each type of noodle spaghetti in the same area. Spread it out if necessary. Keep a distance so that you do not scare away the birds. After 20 minutes, finalize your work.
The first trial we recorded, we got 0 birds. We thought this was because of the location, so after we went to a different park and retrieved this data. With this chart, we used percentages instead of the actual numbers. This is because there were different amount of birds for each species that came to eat the prey. From the results, we can see that the 6 magpies that ate the spaghetti ate mostly the normal spaghetti, but ate everything else as well. In the 6 magpies, 50% of the magpies ate normal coloured spaghetti. The lowest percentage was red and green at 13%. We could see that the 2 red wattle birds only ate the normal coloured spaghetti and the red coloured spaghetti. 66% of the birds ate the red and 33% of the birds ate the normal coloured spaghetti. Our hypothesis was right. In the experiment, the species and their diet was influenced by the colour of worms they ate. The magpies wasn't a very good species to analyse because they will eat anything and they are scavengers. In this experiment you can see that they ate every single colour. This data is not very reliable due to the natural selection. Since there were 8 birds and they ate all of the colours, this just shows a lot of variation in the species. Some of the birds might have just selected any of the colours due to their genes.
Conclusion: this experiment was not very reliable. Some improvements would be to leave the food out longer. One of the problems we had was that we didn't have enough birds eat the food. Longer experiment time would lead to more accurate results. More birds would also fix the natural selection problem, which is the variation of the individuals and species.